Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts, the site for some Monday evening baseball here. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. And Austin, after a rough 4 games for the Harbor Hawks recently, they come to bounce back against the team that they have their lone win against, the Cotuit Kettleers.
Yeah, Lincoln, you said it. They have had a rough skid as of late, losing 4 games in a row, and in a variety of ways they've lost those games. You go back to Chatham on Saturday night, a 4-0 loss, 1 hit. Obviously, last night's game against Falmouth, they were able to put up 5 runs, but fell short after the pitchers allowed 8 runs, and 6 of those coming in the first 2 innings. So it's been a mixed bag of issues so far for Hyannis, but they want to come out and get on the board early in this game.
We're just a few moments away from first pitch, but first we're going to throw it on down to our Sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who caught up with Caden Rose, who was a pretty big star in last night's game. Taylor, what do you have for us?
Yes, guys, I did catch up with Caden Rose before the game. Some of the players made.
All right, and we're actually going to take a break, Taylor, as we're going to get ready for the national anthem here. We'll be back in just a second. And we are back, just finished up the national anthem. I apologize for that short break. And now we're going to actually throw it back to Taylor, who gets another run at her interview with Caden Rose earlier today. Taylor?
Yes, guys, I did catch up with Caden Rose prior to the game. You know, some of the players made fun of our southern accents, more Caden's than mine. But just talking to him about his at-bat last night, you know, his RBI single and a double, he said he is feeling a lot better swinging the bat. It's a tough league to hit in, but he feels the whole team is starting to feel better at the plate. I also asked him about having the only win against Cotuit this year. We're playing them again tonight, how the team's feeling. He says they're feeling confident coming off the win of Cotuit last time despite having 4 losses, and it should be a fun win tonight.
That it should, Taylor, and we're just about ready to get underway here. But first, the starting lineups for tonight's game, starting with the visiting team, the Harbor Hawks. Austin, what does it look like for us today?
As Taylor mentioned, Caden Rose back in the leadoff spot. He'll be back in center field tonight. Kyle Ball in the 2-hole and playing his usual shortstop. Marc goes Pujols in at first base tonight, batting third. Pujols coming off a big game last night where he picked up his first hit of the season, in addition to a 3-run home run. Look for him to keep that momentum rolling tonight. Batting cleanup tonight for Hyannis is Zane Harris. He's at DH. Batting 5 is Adam Hackenberg, the catcher. Batting 6 is the right fielder Mitchell Harrigan. And batting 7, Dominic Johnson, the left fielder. Batting 8, Mason Greer, the third baseman. And batting 9, Mariano Ricciardi, the second baseman, and on the hill tonight for the Harbor Hawks, making his second start of the season, is a right-hander, Cade Halimanu.
And that's a talented lineup coming in for the Harbor Hawks, as once again they look for their second win on the season. And now for the home team, the Cotuit Kettleers, starting off in the number 1 hole, playing third base is going to be Cole Cummings, followed by Brooks Baldwin, the first baseman. RJ Schreck will be batting in the 3 hole, followed by the cleanup Ben Rice behind the plate. Luke Gold, who's had an electric bat so far this season, hitting .357 with 3 home runs on the season so far. He'll be in the 5 hole tonight, followed by Andy Garriola. Dylan Beavers will be in the 7 hole, playing in center field, followed by Brett Roberts, the DH. And Ryan Ritter will be bringing up the rear in the 9 hole, and he'll be playing at shortstop. And then on the mound for the Kettleers, we'll have Jake Smith from NC Miami starting off on the mound for the Kettleers here tonight. Again, we're just a few moments away, as Austin mentioned earlier. Caden Rose starting us off, followed by Kyle Ball and Marcos Pujols, the first 3 up for the Kettleers coming in tonight.
And Lincoln, Hyannis has to get off to a strong start. They're coming from behind in most of their ball games this season. They tried to complete a comeback last night against Falmouth, but fell short, as we know. But Pujols with that 3-run home run, it was good to see him get the bat going. We talked about it a lot last night, but once he gets into a groove, it seems like he's a guy who can get very hot and stay hot for a while. But you have to get guys on base ahead of him, because he can't do it himself in any ball game. Nobody can. So it's important for this top of the order, the Rose Ball tandem, to get on base for the 3, 4, 5 hitters in this order.
Yeah, as we all know, the last time the Harbor Hawks were on the road back at Chatham against the Anglers, we only ended with 1 hit in that entire game, and that was a double from Luke Cunningham. And hits have definitely been something that's hard to come by early on in these games, as that first pitch to Caden Rose is in on the inside corner for strike 1, and we're underway.
Yeah, and you'll notice Jake Cunningham out of the lineup tonight. He had started 4 games straight for Hyannis after not starting the first 2. Lincoln, you mentioned he had that double against Chatham, had a couple of hits earlier in the week, and maybe we'll see him at some point in this game, because Jake Cunningham's been swinging a very hot bat.
After he has had a hot bat, Austin, as you mentioned, he's been definitely lighting up the plate. He did end 0 for 3 in last night's game with a pair of strikeouts and a ground out, but he is not in the starting lineup here tonight. Count now at 1-2 to Caden Rose, as the pitch comes in, just missing on the inside corner from Smith. And the count becomes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
94 on the fastball there, so the Harbor Hawks are going to have to time that pitch up. Very electric in the first inning.
And that's the 11th strikeout now for Rose on the season, as he goes down swinging for out number 1. And that's going to bring Kyle Ball to the plate. Ball having a hard time getting some hits. He has 1 hit on the season, 1 for 18 for a .056 batting average. However, he has reached base quite a bit with a .320 on-base percentage.
Yeah, he's worked 6 walks, is what you want out of your 2-hitter, to get on base ahead of the 3-4. Just want that bat to come around with the plate discipline.
And a couple of heavy hitters coming up after Ball, Marcos Pujols and Zane Harris, both with a home run on the season so far. As the 0-1 drops down low, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Good mix of off-speed and a fastball here early from Smith. Lots of movement on the pitches as well.
That ball called strike, brings the count to 1-2 now.
And this is Smith's first official start of the year. He did start a game against Bourne that was rained out, so that doesn't count for anything.
As that is a called strike 3, the 1-2, and Ball goes down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Smith to start us off here, as Marcos Pujols is stepping up to the plate. Pujols, as we mentioned, finally bringing up his batting average a bit, now at 133 on the season, 2 for 15, both of those hits coming last night. A single and then a home run, that 3-run shot. That started a little rally, but wasn't enough for the Harbor Hawks to make a comeback last night, as he watches that first pitch come in. Strike 1 brings the count to 0-1 with 2 away.
Smith has been very impressive early on, dotting the corners inside and outside, really hitting his spots.
Smith still from the windup, as he misses that one down low. Gives the count 1 apiece. Cotuit Kettleers 2-4 on the season so far. Hyannis with a 1-4 record. As the 1-1 misses a little bit low, 2 balls and 1 strike to count.
Hyannis at 1-5 now after last night's loss to the Commodores. And Lincoln looking to pick up their second win against the Kettleers on the season.
Yeah, you are right. I do apologize about that mistake as the 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 2-2 the count.
We'll see the Kettleers tonight, tomorrow night as well, and then the Commodores once again on Wednesday.
And the 2-2 misses low. 3 balls and 2 strikes now the count.
Great patience by Pujols at the dish. A 95-mile-per-hour fastball at the bottom of the zone, and to lay off with 2 strikes. Good play discipline here from the lefty.
And the payoff from Smith. Swing and a miss. And Smith strikes out the side as we head now to the bottom of the first. Still scoreless with the Kettleers getting their first at-bat after this on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom half of the first, the Kettleers getting their first set of at-bats here tonight. But first, before we get started with the action, fans, for your weekly review of everything Harbor Hawk, be sure to subscribe to the Birds the Word podcast. Hosts Harrison Meyers, Austin DeCouta, and myself, Lincoln Revill, break down all the action from the past week, interview players, coaches, and the people behind the scenes to bring you everything you need to know to be in the know. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app today. This one hit over towards second, and that is no play, as that's going to be an infield single there. As that was Cole Cummings swinging at the very first pitch he saw. And the Kettleers very early with their first hit and the first hit of the game.
Tough play to make a play on over there to first, and Pujols gave it a good effort, but unfortunately Cummings runs well down the line, so by the time Ricciardi could help recover, Cummings was already safe at first.
And with the runner on first, nobody out, that's going to bring Brooks Baldwin to the plate. Baldwin from UNC Wilmington at 6'2", 185 pounds. In the left-handed box, he watches that one go inside, ball 1.
Early trouble here for Cade Halamanu on the mound for Hyannis for the second start of the season. He pitched against Cotuit in that win for Hyannis. He only allowed 3 earned runs, went 3 innings, 6 hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. So doesn't miss much, but he is hittable.
And Cummings extends over to second on a little bit of a bobbled pitch there from Hackenberg. He tried to come up and throw down to second, but that ball jumping in his glove and back out as that bounced onto the ground. And now Cummings in scoring position very early in the game. And the last time the Harbor Hawks played the Kettleers ended up getting out to an early lead off of a leadoff home run. But the Harbor Hawks ended up making a comeback and taking a 7-4 win for their first win of the season and only win thus far. This one chopped over to second, picked up by Ricciardi. Throw to first, gets over the head of Pujols, and there's a collision at first as Pujols and Baldwin both go down. And
we'll give them a second to regroup. It's a little bit of a scary play, and in the end there, Lincoln, Cummings comes home to score.
Pujols shaken up a bit on the play as he was slow to get up there, but he looks like he's okay. And Baldwin okay as well as he stands on first base.
It's going to be an error on Mariano Ricciardi at second base on the play.
Yeah, and that throw, tried to threw it from the sidearm slot and ended up lifting it just a little too far for Pujols. It proved costly, as now Kettleers with another early 1-0 lead, runner on first, and R.J. Schreck at the plate. Schreck out in right field for the Kettleers here tonight. As a throw over from Halamanu is not in time. Halamanu comes home, runner goes. This one lifted into center field, and that's down for a base hit. That's going to be picked up by Rose. And Baldwin going to be stopped over at third, and Schreck now with a single. As the Kettleers bats are definitely hot very early in the game so far.
Yeah, they got 6 hits off of Halamanu in the game last week in which the Harbor Hawks won, but they've been able to time up his fastball early on in the ball game, and you saw Schreck with no issue there, lining that one into the right center field gap, and with the good speed on the bases, Baldwin goes to third, so runners on the corners now, still nobody out, and a dangerous hitter in Ben Rice at the plate.
Yeah, Ben Rice from Dartmouth, batting .333 on the season so far at 5 for 15.
Who was the Futures League MVP last summer in 2020 with the Worcester Bravehearts of the FCBL. Lots of power, too, from that left side of the plate.
The 1-0 from Halamanu misses up high. The count goes to 2-0 now. Sunny, warm, windy day here from Barnstable.
A little bit of everything.
As temperature at 81 degrees. Wind at 17 miles an hour out of the southwest. And papers from the broadcast table flying every which way on this windy day. Two balls, one strike now the count. Halamanu with a look over at first. Throw over to first. Not in time.
Good move there by Halamanu. The Harbor Hawks as a team have had trouble keeping runners on. We saw the Commodores running around the bases last night and on Friday. Good to see them trying to keep the runners somewhat close at first.
Runner goes from first, throw down over to second. And that is in time as they get Schreck trying to steal an extra base. And they have the first out with a 3-1 count now to Ben Rice. Runner still on third is Baldwin.
And the third runner, Adam Hackenberg, has caught stealing in his last 2 starts. On Saturday night in Chatham, he threw out 2 runners trying to swipe third, gets one going to second, and Hackenberg quickly making a name for himself or expanding on what he did in the 29th season with Hyannis here as a tremendous defensive catcher so far.
Hackenberg making his second start in 3 games. As we're seeing a little blip in the catching rotation. Counts now full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Halamanu comes home, that one's fouled off. Over the crowd down the third base line, and we'll stay at 3-2. Fastball at 92 miles an hour there from Halamanu. And the full count once again, another foul ball as that one's hit out of play. Almost down the exact same spot.
Good battle here by Ben Rice, a seasoned hitter at the dish. Going to continue to fight off whatever Halamanu throws him. Might have to come back with a fastball here. He's thrown a couple off-speed pitches, but Rice spoiling everything.
Rice in the left-handed box. And Hackenberg, we've seen quite a cannon from him as he's already displayed it a couple of times tonight. The 1-0. Chopper over towards short, and that's through for a base hit. That's going to go into left field, and Johnson's going to pick it up. The throw home is going to be cut off by Greer, and the Kettleers now with an early 3-0 lead as Gold's going to come in, and that's a single for Andy Garriola.
4 hits in the inning for Cotuit, 3 runs, and that's 10 hits on Halamanu from these Kettleers between the 3 innings in the last game and through 2/3 here, as they just really are seeing the ball well out of his hand.
Another hefty swing there from Beavers this time. Dylan Beavers at the plate. He almost ended up connecting on that one. Seemed his bat dropped just a little low of the ball. Halamanu is ready to go. Beavers from the University of California. As that throw to first is not in time.
Halamanu does have a good pickup move. It's just he's a little bit slower to the plate, it seems, as the runners are able to get a good jump.
Throw home from Halamanu. 1-1 the count. That ball swung on and missed. That was 0-1. Brings the count now to 0-2.
A little quicker to the plate there on that pitch. Shortened up that delivery. 2 strikes here, and the count might go back to the off-speed, looking outside corner.
Beavers chops that one over towards first. Foul ball as Pujols tries to grab it, and he's just a little bit late. We'll stay at 0-2. Beavers ended his season with a .303 average, 18 home runs, and 49 RBIs over 55 games. Ended up with a all Pac-12 first-team honors. He also led the Pac-12 in home runs with 10. He lofts this one down the first base line, and that's going to be fair, as that's going to be extra bases for sure, as Garriola going to be stopped at third, and that is a 2-out double for Dylan Beavers.
The Kettleers continue to hit early in this ball game, the 5th hit of the inning. That'll prompt a mound visit from pitching coach Ray Korn, as at least you're looking for Halamanu to get himself out of danger here with runners on 2nd and 3rd. We don't have a view of the bullpen here. You can see the Kettleers bullpen out in left, but we don't have a view of where the Harbor Hawks. It's down the right field line, tucked away, but unfortunately we can't tell you if somebody's warming up or not.
Coach Korn recently celebrated his 75th birthday, as we mentioned the other day in Chatham. And the Kettleers close to matching their score from last game against the Harbor Hawks in just the first inning. They already have 3 runs out of the 4 that they scored in game 1 of the 2021 Patriot Cup. Patriot Cup, the elusive series championship between the Harbor Hawks and the Kettleers.
The players don't seem to pay too much attention to it. Chatting with them before the game, they said they weren't really too aware of the Patriot Cup, but it's more of just a thing between the fans and the towns rather than the guys actually on the field. They're really just looking to win ball games rather than win specific ball games. I mean, they said they don't really pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, and after a 4-game losing streak, I'm sure that the only thing on their minds is ending that skid and getting that first win in quite a while. Count even now at 1-1, 2 away. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. That's Andy Garriola at 3rd, Dylan Beavers over at 2nd. Halamanu comes home. That finds the outside part of the zone, brings the count to 1-2. Brett Roberts now at the plate. Roberts is the designated hitter for the Kettleers here tonight. As the 1-2 breaking ball drops a little bit low at 79 miles an hour. That evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Roberts thought about going around, but the breaking ball was started on the outside part of the plate, so it broke towards that left-handed hitter's box too far outside. Halamano's just got to start that one a little bit more over the plate to get a swing.
Roberts from Florida State hitting .294 on the season. He lofts that one towards center field, and that's going to drop fair as Rose can't get to it, and that drops past him. That's going to score 2, as Roberts rounds second, heading for third. And that's going to be a 2-out triple for Brett Roberts. And I think we might be seeing an error on Rose from center field.
Yeah, so I don't know what the official call is going to be, if it's going to be a single or a double. I assume a single and then an error, allowing him to advance from first to third as he gets by Caden Rose.
So the Kettleers already with a 5-0 lead here in just the bottom of the first. And the Harbor Hawks have some work to do as that pitch now to Ryan Ritter drops outside, ball 1.
Same thing happened last night in Hyannis as the Commodores got out to a 5-0 start on Seth Halverson, who got the start for the Harbor Hawks.
A long foul ball. That was a loud pop coming from that bat. Would have gone quite a distance had it stayed fair, but instead that goes sailing into the trees. 1-1 now the count to Ritter. That 1-1 up high for ball 2. There's Ritter's in the right-handed box. Pitch comes in, hit over towards third. That's going to be Greer picking that one up. Throw to first is in time. And the first inning finally comes to an end, but the Kettleers take a large lead, scoring 5 runs in that opening inning. And we'll be back for the second here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top half of the second here from Lowell Park, home of the Cotuit Kettleers, as we're ready to get underway with the second inning of play. Zane Harris starting us off, followed by Adam Hackenberg and Mitch Hardigan, the 4, 5, and 6 hole hitters for the Harbor Hawks. As back in the top of the first, Harbor Hawks went down very quietly, 3 up, 3 down, and all strikeouts.
Yeah, Lincoln, it's important for Hyannis to at least put a ball in play this inning, going down on 3 strikeouts and allowing a 5 spot. The team morale is going to be a little bit low at the moment, but they can come back strong here. At least get one back, get a guy on base, start the inning, and that starts with Zane Harris, a guy with a lot of pop.
Harris batting .267 on the season as he foul tips that one, and that drops out of the glove of Rice. That'll bring the count to 0-2. Harris 4 for 15 overall on the season, including a long home run that we saw just a couple nights ago. As the 0-2 from Smith comes in, misses down low for ball 1.
Good patience there by Harris, not chasing. 95 miles per hour on the fastball. Zane, a really good fastball hitter. I talked with him a little bit about adjusting from the metal to wood bats. He said it's not too bad for him. Hasn't had too much trouble adjusting.
And the 1-2 breaking ball, 82 miles an hour. Zane Harris goes down swinging. Strikeout number 4 for Jake Smith in just 4 batters faced, and that brings Adam Hackenberg to the plate.
Well, the scouts definitely impressed with Jake Smith so far. You mentioned it, Lincoln. 4 up, 4 down, all on the punch out. And he's got everything working. The fastball, the location of the fastball, and the movement and location of the off-speed pitches, and doesn't seem very hittable right now.
Yeah, Smith coming to Cotuit from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, plays at the University of Miami. In 2021, posted some impressive stats, a 3-1 record, a 3.45 ERA, and he had 63 strikeouts over 47 innings pitched.
So the strikeout's not necessarily a surprise to see tonight. Good
Definitely
strikeout
not.
numbers in college. Packed house tonight, too. Doing it in front of a lot of fans.
Now, it started out, that first pitch, there was a little bit of open room left, but very quickly, Lowell Park has filled to the brim.
You have a bleacher behind each dugout. Seats a few hundred, and then fans lined up along each foul line, but behind the fence there.
2-1 pitch finds the lower part of the zone, brings count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Couple fans in the outfield, out near the Kettleer bullpen in left center.
Kettleer bullpen surrounded by the tree line. As the 2-2, called strike 3 at the knees. Hackenberg goes down looking. 5 strikeouts in a row for Smith. That's going to bring Mitch Hardigan to the plate now.
Hardigan's a guy who can jump on a fastball. I think he can break up this strikeout streak.
Hardigan from FAU, batting 200 on the season. He struck out 7 times this season in 20 at-bats. The 1-0 breaking ball finds the zone, evens the count 1-1.
Little
coming at 82.
Little backdoor breaking ball there to come back and get the outside corner to Hardigan, the left-handed hitter.
And one thing we've seen from Smith so far tonight is a very good mixture of that breaking ball and fastball, and the Harbor Hawks have no idea what's coming from pitch to pitch. Here's the 2-1. That one's lofted towards center field. That's going to be Beavers ranging back over to his right and making the grab. The Harbor Hawks finally put a ball in play as that ends the strikeout streak for Smith. But they're still 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts and a flyout as we head to the bottom of the second. Harbor Hawks chasing a 5-0 deficit. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back at Lowell Park for the bottom of the second inning, Kettleers with a 5-0 lead. They went through the entire lineup in that first inning of play, so Cole Cummings will be back at the plate to start off the second as well. He's 1 for 1 with a single so far on the night. As we have a new pitcher in for the Harbor Hawks, as that is going to be Cooper McKeon now at the plate, the southpaw, now on the mound. Southpaw brings home that first pitch, and that drops down low and outside for ball 1. He starts off with a breaking ball. So Halamanu with only 1 inning under his belt after going 3 innings in his debut last week.
Not the first time we've seen McKeon on the bump this year either. McKeon with 1 game so far, 1 earned run in the inning that he pitched, no walks and a strikeout.
The 2-0 pitch to Cummings, spiked in the dirt, 3 balls and no strikes. And Austin, spiked pitches definitely not something that we have been lacking this season.
No, it seems like a lot of the pitchers might be overthrowing a little bit, trying to get that radar gun number up. A lot of fastballs low in the dirt. The catchers have had quite the workout.
The 3-0 pitch finds the outside part of the zone, strike 1. Cummings ended his season at UC Santa Barbara with a .341 average. He whacked 5 long balls over the fence in 27 RBI, and he had 79 hits in 61 games. The 3-1, lofted and fouled. That heads out of play over the crowd, as kids scramble for it, and we're already seeing some mobs here early tonight. Count now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, nobody on. Cummings, the very first batter of the inning.
Yeah, he led off the game, leads off the second inning, and when that happens, you're in good shape if you're that team.
The 3-2, called strike 3, finds the outside corner, and Cummings goes down with a strikeout, and that's the second strikeout of the game, first strikeout for McKeon.
Between the 2 teams, we've already seen 3 strikeout lookings. I think that says a little bit about the strike zone. We got a look there from Cummings back at the home plate umpire. You had Hackenberg give a little look too. Might be a bigger strike zone tonight.
7 strikeouts combined throughout the game so far. A very high number for only the bottom of the second. This one knocked over towards third. That's past Greer for a base hit. Johnson going to pick it up, but that is a 1-out single for Baldwin, who's now 1 for 1 on the night. Excuse me, 1 for 2 that is. Schreck now coming up to the plate, RJ Schreck. He's 1 for 1 on the night as well with a single. Ended up getting caught trying to steal second.
Hit that ball well into the right center field, the gap. It was a fastball that he timed up off Halamanu's hand.
First pitch from McKeon in the dirt. Good stop there from Hackenberg. 1-0 the count. Baldwin from UNC Wilmington, incoming junior. Named to the first team all-conference team. Ended up his father, Chuck Baldwin, played baseball at Clemson University, where he was the ACC Player of the Year in 1986, and he was later drafted in the 11th round.
What's that saying? Go Tigers?
Go Tigers! Yeah, gotta say that as much as we can. Although the direct quote from LSU head coach, Coach O, one ball, 2 strikes now to Schreck. McKeon with already 1 strikeout, looking for 2. Runner goes from first, and the throw over to first. Throw to second, it goes over the head of Ball as that sails into left field, and that's a little bit of a freebie for Baldwin as he heads over to second.
Well, it was a good move by McKeon. He had Baldwin leaning, and then Pujols got the throw, but unfortunately sailed it over the head of everybody. It happens occasionally, Lincoln. I mean, you're going to see that. You know, first baseman not always making the throws, but it just seems like all these things are happening in the same game for the Harbor Hawks. Maybe they're getting the bumps out early, taking their lumps early in the season. 2 errors already on the night for Hyannis. No runs, no hits, and you can see the score bug there. 5 runs, 7 hits for Cotuit.
Yeah, very offensive game for the Kettleers. Some defensive struggles for the Harbor Hawks. And most of the struggles that we've seen this season have been from the mound, but it seems tonight they're coming from all around. Count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away here in the bottom of the second. Shrek still at the plate. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. And that is strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for McKeon, and we have 2 away here in the bottom of the second.
Terrific breaking ball there by McKeon. Just wears down Shrek on the longer at bat there. And a nice breaking ball that starts middle of the plate, breaks to the outside part. And for a left-handed hitter, with that coming from a left-handed pitcher, that's incredibly tough to hit.
Yeah, that curveball breaking away from them as that's runner goes to third. That's going to be Baldwin. Now 90 feet away from scoring the 6th run for the Kettleers as that ball got away from Hackenberg and allowed him a free ride over to third base.
He was going on the pitch anyway, so I think or at least had a big secondary league. I think that might count as a stolen base for him.
1-0 now the count to Rice. Pitch from McKeon, finds the zone. Breaking ball, 81 miles an hour, evens the count. Rice 0 for 1. He went down swinging back in the first. Only strikeout for Halamanu. As he comes home with the 1-1. That one misses, ball 2. Rice 6'2", 205. The catcher from Dartmouth.
2-1 the count. He might go back to the breaking ball.
Fastball, 90 miles an hour. Swing and a miss there from Rice. Brings the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
He was setting up on the outside corner, same spot as he had thrown the breaking ball in the last pitch. And to Rice, who was struggling on the breaking ball early, he's been heavy on it.
2s all across the board as the pitch comes in. Did he go? No, he did not, says the third base umpire, and we'll bring the count to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away in the bottom of the second. Hyannis looking to get out of this inning without allowing any further runs and hoping to go into the third and get some runs of their own. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on third. Pitch from McKeon. Gets past Hackenberg. That's going to be a walk. And that's going to score a run for the Kettleers as they now lead 6-0. Baldwin coming in on the pass ball.
I'm having deja vu from last night as Hyannis allowed 5 runs to the Commodores in the first and 1 run in the second to be down 6-0 early on, and that is the same exact score and situation as last night is happening right now.
Yeah, seeing a lot of similarities between those 2 games. Lots of struggles on defense and a lack of hits on offense. And this is especially something you don't want to see after only having 1 hit against Chatham. Their hits have been something hard to come by for the Harbor Hawks as of late. 1-0 the count to Luke Gold, 1 for 1, had an RBI single back in the first as this one lofted, and that's going to head out of play, landing way back in the trees.
And Gold, as you mentioned last at bat, Lincoln, last inning, that he has 3 home runs on the season, added his 8th RBI with that single, can do a lot of damage, and if McKeon's not careful here, this game could get even further out of hand.
Here's the 1-1. Called strike on the inside part of the plate near the knees. Count goes to 1-2.
breaking ball's been working for him so far. I don't know how comfortable McKeon is throwing it to righties like Gold. And Hackenberg calls time as there's a bit of an issue getting the signs, a little bit of crossing up there.
And like you said, the breaking ball has been working for McKeon. He's thrown a few really great pitches. He brings the 1-2. That one's fouled off, landing just over to the right of the broadcast table, actually. Harbor Hawk back boy grabbing that one and hustling on back to his spot.
I don't know about hustling.
he moved into a kind of a jog, a little bit of a jog heading back, I think. Started off at a walk, but moved on back. Throw to first from the lefty, not in time. Pujols putting the tag on Rice, but it's not in time. We'll stay at 1-2.
They were hustling last night in Hyannis, the Bat Boys on both teams. They were having a race to the ball.
Definitely a good workout for all of them. The 1-2, runner goes, swing and a miss, drop third strike. Hackenberg places the tag, and that'll end the second. The Kettleers add one off of one hit. And we head to the third. Harbor Hawks chasing 6 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back up for the top of the third inning, and we're going to start off that third inning with Dominic Johnson. Johnson, Greer, and Ricciardi, the next three up after in the first and second innings.
Johnson
have had 3 up, 3 down.
Recently transferred to Kansas State from Oklahoma State. Excited to get starting there. As he mentioned, very excited to work with their hitting coach and hitting staff as to help him continue to improve at the dish. He was swinging a hot bat last night, a couple of singles.
0-1 the count after that's Smith continuing his outstanding outing so far. Brings count now to 0-2 after that ball's fouled off. Like you said, Johnson recently announced he was transferring to Kansas State. Mason Greer, who's on deck, recently announced that he'll be transferring over to Missouri State, leaving McLennan Community College after recently winning a national championship with MCC.
He had a terrific year there, eye-popping numbers all around. In the 8-hole today for Hyannis as his bat hasn't picked up yet here in the Cape.
Swing and a miss from Johnson on the 1-2, breaking ball at 83 miles an hour, as that is strikeout number 6 for Smith. And like you said, Smith has been very hard to hit tonight as he's fanned 6 out of the 7 batters that he has faced so far.
That's electric stuff on the hill.
First pitch to Greer, foul tipped. Strike one. Greer batting 154 on the season. He's also been fanned 7 times. Has 2 hits on the season, and when he puts the ball in play, it can go a ways, as we saw back on opening night in Bourne. That 1-1 pitch. Called strike brings the count to 1-2 now. And the pitch from Smith misses outside. Again, not much shade here from Lowell Park. Surrounded by trees, actually, but...
Interesting how that works, huh?
Yeah, right?
Trees everywhere, but only sunshine.
And that 2-2 pitch from Greer, he fans on the outside pitch, as that will be 2 down now, as Greer goes down to 0 for 1 with a strikeout as well. And after Mitch Hardigan, the only batter so far for the Harbor Hawks to not go down with a strikeout, as he went down with a flyout to end the second, but Smith back where he left off, as this one lofted over towards center, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Mariano Ricciardi gets the hitting going for us as he lands a 2-out single here in the third.
The birthday boy putting it in play, breaking up a no-hitter.
Ricciardi turning 23 years old today. Happy birthday, Mariano. Definitely got to be a pretty good gift there, breaking up the perfect game for Jake Smith. Smith, as I mentioned earlier, from the University of Miami. He's moved around a couple of times, started out at Chipola, and then ended up transferring over to the State College of Florida before transferring once again to Miami.
Good chance here for Caden Rose to put something in play.
The 1-0 misses down low to Rose. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Rose 0 for 1, went down swinging to start us off.
And for those fans listening with us, we only have audio today per usual on the away broadcast. We are not allowed to broadcast video. When we are home at McKeon Park, there will be video in conjunction with the broadcast with myself and Lincoln and Taylor along with us. But today, audio only as we are away in Cotuit.
3 balls and no strikes now. Rose in the right-handed box. Most likely a red light here as he does not swing at that one. That one in the zone, strike 1.
And Taylor, our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, got a terrific interview with Caden Rose before the game today. You can check that out from the sideline on the Harbor Hawks YouTube page. Definitely worth a watch.
3-1. A called strike at the knees, says home plate umpire. Rose thought that was a walk, but said he has to backtrack a little bit back to his spot in the box.
It's like the 3rd time we've seen that happen today between the 2 teams. A couple guys start towards first and a late strike call.
The full count, runner goes, and that one fouled down the third base line. Barehanded grab over there at third, Coach Gary Calhoun. As we head back to a 3-2 count with 2 away now. Ricciardi, no doubt, definitely going to be going on this pitch as the payoff comes in, misses down low, and that is a full count walk for Rose. And after some struggle from the Harbor Hawk bats in the last 2 innings, we have our first 2 runners on base here in the third.
How about a little 2-out magic here for the Harbor Hawks? A single, a walk. Now you have Kyle Ball up, a guy who's due for a base hit, followed up by a man who was very hot last night in Pujols. Let's put something together here for Hyannis. See what they can do.
Ball with only 1 hit on the season so far as this first pitch. Breaking ball finding the zone for strike 1. Ball in last night's game, and at 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts and 2 groundouts as well. He also reached on a walk. As he fouls that one off, heads into the trees.
Heads up down the right field line. That one heading just over the fans.
A couple of younger fans braving the brush out there, trying to grab a nice little souvenir to take home. 0-2 now they count the ball. Smith ready to go. Here's the 0-2. A called strike 3 at the knees, and Ball does not like that call, but that ends the top half of the third. We get our first hit of the night, but that's about it, as two are left stranded heading to the bottom half of the third. Harbor Hawks trail 6-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
I just know I'm not going to make it to there.
Back here, bottom half of the third, Harbor Hawks trailing 6-0 against the Cotuit Kettleers. Before we get started here, fans, earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Starting us off here, bottom half of the third, that's going to be Andy Garriola. As he hits that one over towards short, going to be picked up by Ball. Throw to first is in time. Stretch over there by Pujols for out number 1.
Good all-around play. Good job by Kyle Ball waiting and getting that one on the hop. And a nice stretch by Marcos Pujols. He's done a nice job this season at first base.
Garriola now 1 for 2. He had an RBI single back in the first. Now a ground out for his at-bat in the third with Dylan Beavers stepping to the plate. Beavers also 1 for 1 on the night. He had a double back in the first.
Little lefty-lefty matchup. That breaking ball that McKeon displays is very tough, and we see it there to the left-handed hitters.
And Beavers, again, the junior at the University of California. Interesting little stance at the plate now as he holds his bat almost straight up. That pitch coming in, he fouls it off, 0-2. And his hands a little bit lower than you see from a lot of batters, holding it near his chest.
A little Anthony Rizzo-like there, as Rizzo does something similar. Cubs first baseman. Former Boston Red Sox prospect. Rizzo was traded to the Padres, then over to the Cubs, and has made a career in Chicago.
The 0-2, ball in the dirt, that breaking ball. Tried to get Beavers chasing, but he couldn't do it, 1-2.
Wind feels nice, it's picking up a bit, but the sun is still shining because there's no lights here at Lowell Park in Cotuit, so this game has to be done by the time we see darkness.
Cotuit, cancellations due to lack of daylight, definitely not a rare occurrence here as Beavers goes down on a check swing. Umpire says he did go around, so that is another strikeout for out number 2. That's going to be strikeout number 4 for Cooper McKeon.
He's been great out of the bullpen, Lincoln. All things considered, allowed 1 single, walked 1 guy, and a run did come home, but in part due to an error, but he's been solid.
Yeah, he has. And a complete turnaround from Cade Halamanu, who started off this game. He allowed 5 runs in that bottom of the first inning. After he allowed 1 run against the Kettleers in his last outing, but other than that, he had a pretty solid outing during that game as well.
He ended up allowing the 3 runs in that game the first time they matched up with the Kettleers Lincoln, but he didn't walk anybody that time.
On 1 out of the count to Brett Roberts. Roberts watches that one go as that misses down low. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 away, nobody on. A little bit of shade starting to creep onto the infield as Mason Greer over at third, almost engulfed in shade. Swung on and missed. That pitch coming in at 91. Brings the count to 1-2 now.
Good fastball. Really electric on the outside part of the plate at 91. 91's not the fastest we've seen this year, not in this game either, but with a little bit of movement on it, it can be really effective.
And the 1-2, missing down low, not very far from where we've seen a couple of strikes. That was a little bit out of the zone, but just a few inches too low from that strike zone. And Roberts had that single up the middle back in the first that ended up going past Rose and allowing him to reach third as this one ripped up the middle. That's going to be diving, stop by Ball. Throw to first is not in time.
What an effort.
A great stop there from Ball, but and he kept a easy base hit from going up there, but the throw just coming about a half step too late.
Great effort by Ball on that play, getting dirty, and a great recovery to grab it and make a strong throw across the diamond. Unfortunately, Roberts just runs well. Got him.
The throw over to second on that pickoff move from first is not in time as Roberts ends up sliding underneath the tag.
They had him leaning off a few steps, but by the time the ball got to Pujols and he transferred it from the glove to the hand and fired it to Ball, it was just Roberts was sliding in safely.
Yeah, Roberts showing off his wheels there as Ryan Ritter ready for his first pitch. A hefty swing there, but he can't connect. 0-1. Ritter 0 for 1.
What a curveball there by McKeon. Gonna need some pine tar after that one.
Oh, 1 now the count. McKeon looking to end this inning as well. Ritter ended the first inning with a ground out to Greer over at third. Looking to see if something similar can happen here. 0-1 the count. Again, runner on second. The Harbor Hawks trailing 6-0 against the Kettleers. And the 1-2. 0-1 that is. 1-1 now the count. You know, the scoreboard here from Lowell Park, a little bit different than anything that we've seen so far this season. That 1-1 is swung on and missed, brings the count to 1-2. Meanwhile, Roberts heads over to third on that pass ball there from Hackenberg. That breaking ball just couldn't keep it in front of him.
Would not be surprised if he goes back to the breaking ball again after he was able to get Ritter fishing in the dirt at the last one. And that pitch has worked really, really well tonight for McKeon out of the bullpen.
At one point last night, we saw quite a series of breaking balls as we ended up seeing an unusual 4 breaking balls in a row. As that 1-2 fouled off, we'll keep the count at 1-2. Look at that, a little bit of hustle out of the bat boy this time.
There we go. He's warming up.
The 1-2 from McKeon, up high, ball 2. Ritter out at short for the Kettleers tonight. The 2-2 misses high. Hanging breaking ball at 81 miles an hour. We'll stay at 3-2.
Need your best pitch here from McKeon. Nowhere to, well, if he misses, it's a walk, but really can't afford to miss at this point. You don't want runners on the corners.
Ritter plays at the University of Kentucky. As that 3-2 right in the heart of the zone. Breaking ball finds the zone, and that is strike 3. Ritter goes down to 0 for 2 now after looking at that last pitch, and we head now to the 4th. Harbor Hawks trailing 6-0, and before we go to a break, we're actually going to pass it on down to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer. Taylor, what do you have for us?
Guys, not the start we were hoping to see for the Harbor Hawks tonight. It's never good to see more errors than hits for us on the scoreboard. I mean, Smith has been electric on the mound for the Cotuit Kettleers. We struggled a bit on the mound in that first inning, but Cooper McKeon has come in and done a good job for the Harbor Hawks. We've had some trouble fielding and at-bat with Smith pitching, but hopefully with that last at-bat, Ricciardi getting on base, we'll get going here going in the 4th. Last time we played Cotuit, we were down early and got going in the 4th, so maybe that will just be our thing when we play the Cotuit Kettleers.
Well said, Taylor, and like you said, the key to a good offense is getting that first hit, as we had last inning from Mariano Ricciardi. And before we get started here in the 4th, we're going to take a little break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Marcos Pujols set to start us off here in the 4th, followed by Zane Harris and Adam Hackenberg. All three 0 for 1 so far, all striking out. Pujols and Harris both swinging, and Hackenberg went down looking. Pujols in the 3-hole tonight ended up ending that top of the 1st, where Smith ended up striking out the side. And Smith back on the mound for his 4th inning of work. One of the longest outings that we've seen from any pitcher this season.
Can't tell if anybody's up in the Kettleer bullpen or not. I don't see any baseballs being tossed around quite yet.
No, I see someone that looks like they might be getting loose out there, but I'm not entirely sure. Somebody's moving around. That one's lofted out towards the crowd, and that's going to land just in front. I heard that ball hit some flesh. I'm not sure if someone tried to catch it or if it just hit somebody. I'm not exactly 100% sure. It's going to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike now to Pujols. Pujols got his first couple of hits in last night's game, as we mentioned earlier, that single and big home run that he had. He ended up 2 for 3 with that single and home run, and he also had a ground out, and he walked as this one's hit over towards second, picked up by Gold. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. And another player putting it in play for the Harbor Hawks, something that we're really liking to see here tonight after quite a few strikeouts very early in this game. I'll bring Zane Harris now to the plate. He digs back into the left-handed box. Smith with the first pitch, a hefty swing there, can't connect. Harris now with an 0-1 count with 1 away. 0 for 1, he went down swinging, as I mentioned earlier. 0-1 misses. Down low and outside. Smith, the right-hander, brings it home. And Harris swings at that outside breaking ball. Once again, can't connect to it. 1-2 now the count.
Great pitch on the back door. Harris had stopped because it kind of came out funky out of the arm, and then went through with his swing after he dropped that front foot down, but it just broke in too late.
And an outside fastball coming in at 96 miles an hour. Foul tip there from Harris, but it ended up caught by Rice for out number 2. Harris now 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks, with Adam Hackenberg stepping to the plate. Hackenberg 0 for 1, still has yet to get his first hit of the season.
The players have been very frustrated with the home plate umpiring today. We've seen about 5 or 6 of them stare back after taking a called strike and kind of chat with home plate umpire. We haven't seen that much this year because a lot of the guys understand the scouts are watching, but something's a little bit off today.
And that one lofted over the head of Gold for a 2-out base hit for Adam Hackenberg. Just like that, he gets his first hit of the season, now 1 for 2 on the day. That was a good piece of hitting there. He took that inside fastball, took it inside out, and ended up going opposite field with it. So that's now going to bring Mitch Hardigan to the plate.
That was Hackenberg's first hit of the 2021 season.
Hackenberg with the 1-0 with 2 away. Runner now on first with Hackenberg with his lead. 1-0, just a little bit inside. Count now goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Hardigan came into this game with a 4 for 20 batting record this season, now at 4 for 21. As he chops this one over towards second. Gold gonna pick that one up. Easy throw over to first for out number 3. That's gonna end top half of the 4th. Harbor Hawks go down once again. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Hackenberg left stranded as we now head to the bottom of the 4th. Harbor Hawks chasing 6 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
In the game.
Bottom half of the 4th inning, Trey Robertson coming up as we are ready to get underway here. Starting us off, Cole Cummings, Brooks Baldwin, and R.J. Schreck. As Cummings ready to dig into the left-handed box. He's standing 1 for 2 on the night so far with a single and a strikeout. He went down looking in his last at bat back in the 2nd. And we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. This is Trey Robertson, coming to us from the University of Missouri.
Tall, lengthy, left-handed pitcher. We've seen him 2 other times this season, his 3rd appearance on the year.
Like you said, tall and lanky, standing at 6'5", 215 pounds. And he brings home that first pitch. Breaking ball 74 miles an hour for strike 1 to Cummings. And Robertson already ready with the 0-1, ripped past second for a base hit into right field. As that's Hardigan picking that one up as Cummings reaches on a leadoff single here in the 4th. And Cummings, who started off the inning for the 3rd time in just 4 innings. Now 2 for 3. The last time he led off with a single, ended up reaching home back in the 1st. Brooks Baldwin has reached base twice tonight. Once on a single, once on an error. Makes him 1 for 2 on the night. Runner goes from first already. Hackenberg throws over to second, and that is not in time, much to our surprise. And I guess Ricciardi just landed in front of the bag and couldn't reach him, I guess.
He definitely tagged him on the shoulder, but I guess they're saying he got in before the before the tag was made.
Was a beautiful throw there from Hackenberg. Beautiful tag from Ricciardi.
Yeah, Hackenberg's put on a clinic back there with his arm.
And Cummings with a gigantic secondary lead over at second, as the count goes to 2-0 to Baldwin. Ricciardi standing almost over second base. He's hovering around it as Robertson kicks and delivers. That one misses low and inside, ball 3. Robertson, as you mentioned, Austin, he's had 2 outings so far this season. The 3-0, up high, 4-pitch walk to Brooks Baldwin. And that brings runners now to first and second. Nobody out with R.J. Schreck coming up to the plate. And R.J. Schreck, coming from Duke University, originally from Sherman Oaks, California, digging into the left-handed box. As Robertson brings home the first pitch, and that is a called strike. Schreck currently sitting at 1 for 2, single in the first, struck out swinging in the second. The pitch from Robertson, both runners go, and throw it down from Hackenberg over to second instead of over to third. And both runners are safe, as that's 2 runners in scoring position now for Baldwin. And the Kettleers with a chance very early in this inning to add more runs to their already 6-0 lead.
No one out, second and third, and a dangerous hitter at the plate. This 3-4-5 due up with Schreck in the box now, Rice and Gold, Lincoln, and could get ugly quick.
Schreck will be a senior at Duke in the upcoming year. Ended with the 2nd highest average on the team at Duke with the .337 average. Had 18 home runs with 52 RBIs. The 1-2. That's a pop-up over towards foul territory just behind third base. That's going to be Greer making the grab for out number 1. Both runners stay put as R.J. Schreck goes down to 1 for 3 after that flyout.
That's a huge out there to get Schreck. Runners stay where they are, as you mentioned. That's what Robertson had to do there. Can't afford another run to come across. The out that he needed. Now Rice, who has struggled off of left-handed pitching.
Rice at 0 for 1. Struck out in the first, walked in the second. Infield is in as Ricciardi standing on the grass. Everybody else a step or two just behind the grass, still in the dirt. See the filthy Cummings over at third with the almost brown jersey now.
It's been busy on the base pass and in the field.
And Baldwin with a little bit of dirt on his jersey as well over at second. 1-1 the count. One away with runners on second and third. Pitch from Robertson. A breaking ball that finds the outside part of the zone. 76 miles an hour brings the count to 1-2 now.
Now Ben Rice shaking his head after that called strike. And Lincoln, they're just really not approving of this umpire behind home plate tonight.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how the scouts feel about that. Lots of arguing, not necessarily arguing, but a lot of disagreement from the batters on both sides tonight. As the 1-2, that's lofted. That's going to land in the gap in left center field, and that's going to bring in 2 runs as Cummings and Baldwin both reach home on a 2 RBI single for Ben Rice. The Kettleers now extend their lead to 8-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Now another dangerous hitter here. He's already 1 for 2. And that's Luke Gold. Reached home once on an RBI single. He also struck out in his second at bat back in the second. Throw to first. Not in time. Pujols not even laying down a tag as that was Rice back in easily. Robertson comes home. Misses that one up high. 89 miles an hour on the fastball. And Gold from Boston College, as I mentioned a little while ago. From Ballston Spa, New York.
Boston College teammate Sal Frelick looking to get drafted soon. A lot of rankings and projections have Frelick in the top 10 of the draft.
The 2-0, ball in the dirt. Little bit of temptation there from Gold, but he ends up holding his bat back. That brings him out to 3-0 now. That breaking ball from Robertson looks like a delicious pitch to hit, to say the least. Up until it breaks, and then when it breaks early and it's nasty. The 3-0. Fastball down the heart of the plate brings the count to 3-1.
That sun's got to be tough for Pujols, Ricciardi, and Hardigan on that right side of the field.
Yeah, especially now as it's just above the tree line. That 3-1 pitch misses the zone for ball 4, and that's going to bring runners now to first and second with only 1 away for Andy Garriola. Garriola, 1 RBI already, chance for another one. That's going to bring a mound visit for the Harbor Hawks.
Ray Cohen, the pitching coach, going out to chat with Robertson, and at this point you're just looking for strikes as Robertson allowed a single, a walk, got a pop up, another single, and then another walk. So Cohen just needs his pitcher to fire in some strikes here, make the Kettleers put it in play.
Andy Garriola, another Conference USA player from Old Dominion. Ended his season with Old Dominion with a .318 average, whacked 14 over the fence, and had 75 hits in 59 games. That Also led the team with 72 RBIs out of those 75 hits. He lofts that one, a deep fly over towards left. That's going to be Johnson selling under it for out number 2. A little bit of movement there from Rice over at second as he got about a quarter of the way to third before retreating back to second. Wanted to see if the throw from Johnson would tempt him over at second base.
Good contact by Garriola. He just got under it a little bit. If he squared that one up, it was long gone. Yeah, it still carried out to medium deep left center.
I think he thought that might have been gone as he hit it and then ended up started walking a little bit over towards first. He was doing a little strut.
Yeah, 320 to that left field line, 397 to dead center.
Good sized field here at Lowell Park is first pitch. This one to Dylan Beavers finds his own for strike 1.
Long bottom of the 4th inning here.
Yeah, the first and the 4th innings definitely taking some time so far as the 0-1 misses up high, brings out 1 ball and 1 strike. Beavers 1 for 2, double in the first and a strikeout in the 3rd. He's reached home once, one of the now 8 runs for the Kettleers. As Robertson comes home. That one's a high fly ball over into left field. Johnson coming up on it, and he'll make the grab for out number 3. That finally ends the 4th inning. The Kettleers add 2, now leading 8-0 after 4 on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Fifth inning of action coming up from Lowell Park in Barnstable, Massachusetts. The Battle of Barnstable, also known as the Patriot Cup. Game 2 on the Kettleers home turf. Kettleers taking on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and leading with a commanding 8-0 lead here into the 5th. As the Harbor Hawks step back up for the top of the 5th inning. That's Dominic Johnson, Greer, Mason Greer, and Mariano Ricciardi. The last 3 hitters in this lineup coming up as Johnson watches that first one go by. Ball 1.
Jake Smith still on the hill for Cotuit, and Lincoln, he has been dominant.
He has only 2 hits given up so far as Johnson rolls that one over to short, picked up by Ritter. Throw to first is in time, and easy out number 1 for the Kettleer shortstop.
Kettleer's defense has been so sound today, not making many mistakes at all.
Yeah, it has. Definitely no errors so far for the Kettleer defense. They've been solid all around. Mason Greer steps up to the plate now. Greer only one at bat. Struck out swinging back in the second. The third, that is. As that is a long foul ball that heads out of play over the fence down the right field line. Evens the count 1-1. And the Kettleers ended with, I believe, one error in that last game against the Harbor Hawks. As that 2-1 pitch misses the zone. 3-1 now the count. Greer, as we mentioned earlier, now heading to Missouri State for the upcoming year after leaving MCC. So he swings at that 3-1 pitch, brings the count full, 3-2 with one away. And Ricciardi, who has one of the two hits, on deck now as the payoff pitch comes in. Swing and a miss, the outside fastball, 92. Fans Greer for the second time tonight. He's now 0 for 2 on the night.
Tough pitch to hit there on the outside part of the plate. Greer twisting around there, trying to reach out and grab it. Just couldn't make contact, unfortunately, but it's not necessarily the Harbor Hawk hitters. It's just how good that Jake Smith's been on the hill tonight. I mean, he's pinpointing everything. He's just been dominant.
Yeah, and 5 innings in, he's still unpredictable, as there's no telling what he'll throw, when he'll throw it. As Ricciardi now steps up to the plate. 1-0 the count. As Ricciardi lofts that one towards left field. That's Garriola with an easy grab. He moves a couple steps over to his left and makes the catch for out number 3, ending the top of the 5th. Harbor Hawks go quietly. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on as we head to the bottom half of the 5th. Harbor Hawks trailing 8-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here at Lowell Park for the bottom half of the 5th inning in Austin. It's time for that part of the game that everybody looks forward to, the time where I hand the play-by-play duties over to you, the master. So
I don't think that's true. I'm not the master. I appreciate the introduction, though. You're a tough act to follow.
Yeah, we seem to go through the same routine every game, it appears.
Some nights I'm first, some nights you're first. We mix it up. Oh, it's every other night, but as first pitch of the inning from Derek Cherry is popped up by Roberts. Pujols back into shallow right field, twisting and turning, and it looks like it drops. Couldn't see if it hit anybody's glove. We don't have a great vantage point of that right field line, but nonetheless, Roberts is on to lead it off. And as mentioned, it's Derek Cherry now on the hill for the Harbor Hawks, making his 3rd appearance of the season. Cherry, a right-hander from Houston, has thrown 2 2/3 to this point. We saw him on Saturday in Chatham.
And whether or not that ball did go off the glove of Pujols, the official score is that it has been ruled as a hit. So the Harbor Hawks stay with just 2 errors. It was a very difficult play there for Pujols, as he had to try to make it sort of almost literally over the shoulder, as he had to look on it. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, sheesh. As Ryan Ritter swings and misses at a first pitch slider, but loses his bat in the process, and it just flies over the head of the photographer down by the Kettleers third base dugout.
And that's where you're fortunate to have netting now in these games, because you see just below the netting there's a fan carrying what looks to be his daughter just beyond the fence line, and if that netting had not been there, that would have been a little dangerous situation there.
Netting is not a bad thing, and once you get used to it visually, you don't really notice it too much.
Yeah, especially if you're far enough away. Like if I'd say at the top of the seating here from Lowell Park. Once you're at the top, you don't really notice the netting that much.
Cherry ahead on Ritter. 0-1. The runner goes. It swung on and popped into shallow center. Rose is running after it. It's going to drop for a base hit. Roberts had started to move back, and the throw in from right field to second base is not in time, so everyone's safe at first and second as it drops in for a base hit.
The defensive struggles just continue to happen. No errors this time, but that ball placed just far enough away from Hardigan and far enough from Ricciardi at the same time that it ended up dropping, and then allowing Roberts to extend over to second, even though he got into a little bit of a pickle there towards the end.
Back to the top of the order for the 4th time in the ball game, as Cole Cummings digs in, the third baseman Cole Cummings digs in, as that one misses for a ball. Cummings 2 for 3 to this point, a pair of singles, a pair of run scores, and a pair of stolen bases, so he has been having himself a great game in the leadoff spot. Very rarely do you get up 4 times, and now this is the 5th inning here, Lincoln, but that shows you how successful Cotuit has been in this ball game.
Yeah, they went through the whole starting lineup back in the 1st, went through all 9 hitters, and then in that 4th inning, went through 7 of the 9. Lots of dominance from the Kettleer bats tonight. Derek
Cherry out of the bullpen and in some trouble. The 2-0 is in the dirt, ball 3. So Cherry is in danger of loading the bases with nobody out. He allowed a leadoff single, followed up by a base hit into right center by Ryan Ritter, the shortstop. Puts Roberts on second, Ritter on first. Cole Cummings, the leadoff man at the dish, ahead 3-0 in the count on Derek Cherry, the right-hander from Houston. The 3-0. Ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk there to Cole Cummings, which brings up Baldwin. Brooks Baldwin, the first baseman, 1 for 2 on the day. Has scored 3 times, however. He's singled, reached on an error, and walked. Also stole a couple of bases. We'll have to get the official stolen base total after the game, as there's been a couple pass balls, a couple of defensive indifferences, I believe, with nobody covering on second one time.
Yeah, Baldwin definitely proving to be, even though he only has 1 hit, he's proving to be the offensive player of the game for the Kettleers.
Ball in the dirt, takes a funny hop off of Hackenberg, but he stops it and saves a run.
I think that might have gotten a bit of bare skin there.
They'll take a minute to recover as Derek Cherry gets the ball back on the rubber. Cherry out of the bullpen, having a little bit of trouble against this dangerous Kettleers lineup. Cotuit came into the ball game at 2-4, tied for third in the West Division. Hyannis came into the ball game at 1-5, and they are staring down 1-6 as they are down 8-0 here in the bottom of the fifth with the bases loaded for the Kettleers.
Yeah, and that one win that they have this season, as we mentioned before the game, was against the Kettleers just a few days ago back at McKeon Park. And I'd have to say that makes you said they're staring down the loss, and that just makes this deficit a little bit more bitter, as we have quite a deficit to make up in just a short amount of time.
Bottom fifth inning. Brooks Baldwin at the plate with the bases loaded. The count 1-0 and nobody out. Derek Cherry back on the hill. Long pause from home plate umpire as he allows Baldwin to dig in. Cherry from the windup, the 1-0. Inside, and it gets by Hackenberg to the backstop. Roberts is going to score from third. Ritter advances to third, Cummings advances to second, and the Kettleers tack on another. It's 9-0.
That one just a little bit too far out of the reach of Hackenberg. He was able to tip it with his glove, but couldn't get enough leather on it to keep it from going back to the backstop.
Long pause from Cherry, the 2-0, and that one's lined foul. Brooks Baldwin at the dish. Ahead in the count on Derek Cherry, 2-1. Cherry came in to start this bottom of the fifth. Allowed a base hit, issued another base hit, then a walk. And now we're here with runners on second and third. Nobody out, one home in the inning. That one's lined to right center field. That's going to get down for extra bases. One run scores. Here comes Cummings from second. Baldwin's on his horse heading for third. The throw in from right field is going to be cut off, and it's a 2 RBI triple from Brooks Baldwin. And the Kettleers add on 2 more. It's 11-0 Cotuit.
Yeah, and I don't think you could have placed that any more perfectly, really, if you were Baldwin. You set that right in the right center gap between Hardigan and Rose, and that just gave him all day to run, as it's a pretty far away out there to that gap.
A difficult pill to swallow for Hyannis, as this was a Kettleers team just 6 days ago that they beat 7-4 at McKeon Park. As Cummings brings home, or Baldwin rather, brings home Cummings and Ritter with that RBI triple, which brings up Schreck, R.J. Schreck from Duke University, ahead on Derek Cherry, 2-0 in the count. The runner on third, Baldwin. Nobody out in the inning still with 3 runs already home.
Just a little bit of salt to the wound here. Still nobody out, as the first 4 hitters so far have all reached base safely.
The 2-0 popped foul off towards the concession stand here at Lowell Park down the third base line. 2-1 the count now to R.J. Schreck. Where do you go from here if you're Hyannis Lincoln in terms of pitching? Rest of this ball game. I mean, Cherry's had a little bit of a rough inning. I think you keep just going 1 inning for your bullpen, stretch some guys out. 2-1. Misses below the zone, 3-1. A tight zone top to bottom, but the corner is attainable if you fire it on that outside part of the plate today. Long pause, the 3-1. That one is crushed to right field. Hardigan's going to look up, and it is gone. A 2-run home run off the bat of R.J. Schreck extends the lead for Cotuit by 2 more. It's a total of 13-0.
Well, things started out a little bad for the Harbor Hawks, and they just keep on getting worse as they've now, Kettleers have now matched their run total from that first inning with a total of 2 5-run innings so far, and it's only the 5th.
So hard to see that right field pole down the line from where we're sitting. Now pitch by Cherry comes in on Ben Rice and just misses hitting him. 5 runs home in the inning for the Kettleers rather. 13-0 the lead. 13 runs on 14 hits. No errors for Cotuit. No runs, 2 hits, 2 errors for Hyannis. We're in the bottom of the 5th. 4 more to go. And still no outs in this inning. Ben Rice, the catcher from Dartmouth, takes a called strike on the inside corner. 2-1 the count. Rice to this point is 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI single and a walk. He struck out in inning number 1. The only punch out by Cade Halamanu, the Harbor Hawks starter today. The 2-1. Line foul heads up in the Kettleer dugout. Count evens at 2-2.
As we mentioned, the score here, 13-0 Kettleers. Let's take a look at some scores from around the league. The Whitecaps from Brewster, currently in the lead against the YD Red Sox with a 1-0 score in the bottom of the 6th. Chatham and Bourne leading Chatham 2-0 in the top of the 3rd. Falmouth and Wareham just about to get underway. That's a 6:45 start time.
Ground ball to second, Ricciardi on to first, and there's 1 away. The first out recorded here in the bottom of the 5th by Derek Cherry after 5 runs have come home. Well,
better late than never, I guess. You've already 5 runs have come across, but finally that first out, and now we can have a little bit of a breather as we can get some more outs here, hopefully with a little bit of momentum on our side. And we have a new hitter coming in as Nathan Martorella is going to step in place of Luke Gold.
I expect a couple substitutions upcoming for Cotuit. Get some guys in the lineup that haven't got at bats maybe in a couple of days, as their lead is 13. Martorella getting his first at-bat of the ball game after Luke Gold got the start in the 5 spot. Gold went 1 for 2 with a walk.
Martorella in from UC Berkeley, originally from Salinas, New York.
Strike 1 to Martorella, 93 on the fastball. Cherry has good velocity, just missed with a couple of pitches in the inning. And the Kettleers have punished him for those mistakes. The 0-1, that one comes in and hits Martorella, and he'll reach base on the hit by pitch. It was an 82-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch, so no intent behind it.
Yeah, that off-speed pitch just got away from him. And yet another base runner now for the Kettleers.
Andy Garriola digs in now, ready to take some cuts with 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Garriola, the 8th man to come to the plate this inning. 1 for 3 on the night, an RBI single to his credit, and a run scored. Swinging at the first pitch and missing at a 93-mile-per-hour fastball on the inside part of the plate. 0-1 the count. The Harbor Hawks, as always, on the road in their blue tops with the white pinstripe pants, the blue hats with the orange brims, as Cotuit in their white-on-white home with the maroon lettering. 1-1 the count.
Garriola came into tonight's game with a .500 batting average, and he's helped that along a little bit as he has an RBI single.
The 1-1 in the dirt off the glove of Hackenberg. That's going to allow Martorella to advance to second on the passed ball.
And that ball far enough away from Hackenberg that Martorella was able to jog from first over to second base. Basically a walk in the park over to second base for him.
Runner in scoring position once again for the Kettleers as the count is 2-1 to Garriola. And he can't connect, swings over the top of a fastball. The count evens up at 2 apiece. Martorella gets his lead from second. Cherry from the stretch. Garriola digs in. Garriola in left field today for the Kettleers. Cherry comes set, gets a look at Hackenberg, checks his runner at second. A leg kick and the pitch. Foul tipped off the mask of Hackenberg. It is going to drop there for a foul ball. The count will hold at 2-2.
Along with the Patriot Cup Series, this is also a West Division game between the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks. Kettleers currently sitting in third place with a 2-4 record and 4 total points, and then the Harbor Hawks currently in fifth with a 1-5 record and 2 points on the season.
The 2-2, and a off-speed pitch that Garriola can't connect with. It's a strikeout for Derek Cherry, which makes that 2 away in the inning.
And now
pinch hitter here for the Kettleers is John Rhodes. Going to step in and take his first plate appearance of the night. In place of Jake Beavers, the center fielder. Beavers went 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored, so the Kettleers unloading their bench now. Rhodes did start against the Harbor Hawks in McKeon Park. That was back on Tuesday of last week, about 6 days ago. 2 outs in the inning. The first pitch to Rhodes, and he swings over the top of a changeup. 0-1 the count.
Rhodes ended his night that night against the Harbor Hawks. He ended 3 for 5, 2 singles, a double, a flyout, and a strikeout.
Looking to add on to this Kettleer lead.
One interesting thing about this series so far is that both games, no matter the outcome of the game, both teams have gotten at-bats aplenty so far this season.
Who did he even interview after a game like this? I'll let you think about that. The count 1-1 to John Rhodes. And he can't catch up to a fastball. 1-2 the count.
Rhodes now the only player for the Kettleers this inning that has not seen the plate. All 8 other batters have either reached base or gone down in some way.
The 1-2 to Rhodes. Tapped foul. It's going to come up and hit him. That will immediately rule a dead ball. The 1-2 will have to come again from Derek Cherry. Cherry came in to start the 5th, the 9th batter, Lincoln, as you mentioned, that he's had to face today. In the same inning, the 1-2. That one's grounded foul off towards the Kettleer dugout.
We haven't had a situation so far this season where we've had to double up on our inning stats, as we have had a couple of times where the opposing team has hit through their lineup but hasn't gone around. Hopefully we're not seeing that here in this inning.
The 1-2. Ground ball again, foul. It's 2 in a row down the same spot.
You know, I'd be kind of starting to get worried if I was that photographer down for Cotuit, down by the third base line. He's had a couple of foul balls that have gone his way so far, and a thrown bat.
Active night on that side of the field. The 1-2 once more. Pitch in the dirt, cut on and miss, so the inning is finally over. 9 men come to the plate, 5 runs come home. The Harbor Hawks chasing Cotuit by 13 as we head to the top of the 6th. Back here from Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts, Austin DeCouta, Lincoln Revill on the call as the Harbor Hawks look to mount what seems to be insurmountable comeback, down 13-0.
That's definitely going to be quite a trek to try to come back from that deficit. 13 runs, only 2 hits for the Harbor Hawks so far this game heading to the 6th inning. So first we got to find some more hits before we can even think about getting runs.
New pitcher on the hill for the Kettleers as it's Joseph Walsh, a left-hander from Boston College. Walsh was actually with the Brockton Rocks last summer of the FCBL. Had a phenomenal summer there, earning himself the Reliever of the Year award for the FCBL. The Boston College left-hander. Struck out 47 in 41 innings in 2021 at Boston College. That one's popped up out of play, heading towards the woods behind the broadcast booth here at Cotuit. Caden Rose in now for the 3rd time in the ball game. Walsh comes set, the pitch. In the dirt for a ball to Rose. Count moves to 2-1.
Another good at bat here from Rose. He's been disciplined at the plate, and he's showing it here in this at bat.
Top of the 6th from Cotuit. Rose looking to get on to lead it off. He lines it straight back off the backstop. Count evens up at 2-2.
Joseph Walsh, also known as Joey, at 6'1", 225 pounds, from Boston College. Finished the 2021 year with a 2-3 record, a 5.71 ERA, and he had 47 strikeouts in 41 innings.
2-2 the count holds as Rose fouls it off.
And Austin Walsh, another player with quite an athletic family. His brother Matt played baseball at Franklin Pierce College. His mom played volleyball at Maine and SMU. And his father played football at Dean College and Central Connecticut.
There we go, as Rose flies that one to right field. It's caught out there by Shrek for out number 1.
That was a pretty routine play there for Shrek. Over in right field, had to move a little bit, but mostly a pretty easy play there.
In steps Kyle Ball. Ball with a pair of strikeouts on the line today for the Harbor Hawks. His 3rd at-bat. Behind Joey Walsh, 0-2. Walsh came on here to start the 6th inning, retired Rose to lead it off with a flyout to right field. Harbor Hawks with no runs on the board, 2 hits, 2 errors. To Cotuit's 13 runs on 14 hits and no errors, as that one is lined straight back. Count holds at 0-2.
That ball almost hitting up by the broadcast booth. That actually just went landed just above our heads.
The 0-2. This is low for a ball. The count moves to 1-2. The count. Cut on and misses. An off-speed pitch for Walsh. Gets ball down swinging for the first time in the ball game. He goes down swinging. He went down looking twice. 3rd punch out on the night for Ball.
Yeah, there was a improvement there for Ball, I'd say. He actually went down swinging instead of going down looking. So I'd say you got to quite a little bit of working his way up a little bit.
2 quick outs here in the 6th as Marcos Poolhouse stands in. He takes a ball up in the zone, 1-0 the count. Pujols 0 for 2 today, much like many of his teammates, as the Harbor Hawks only have the 2 hits. He struck out in the first and grounded out to second so far. The 1-0. Can't connect on a fastball. Count moves to 1-1. 1-1 the count to Pujols as Joey Walsh has come in and been effective out of the Kettleers bullpen. That one by him again. Back-to-back fastballs by Marcos Pujols.
Couple of big swings there from Pujols so far. He's hitless tonight after going with 2 hits last night, looking to add on to his average here.
The 1-2, strike 3 called, and the inning over. Was off the outside corner, but they might have said Pujols went around, I guess. That ends the inning as the Harbor Hawks go down in order. Back here for the bottom of the 6th, new pitcher on the rubber for the Harbor Hawks. It's the 6'5" right-hander, Tommy McCollum. McCollum comes to us from Clemens, North Carolina, Wingate University pitcher. Leading off again is Roberts, the DH, the 8-hitter in the lineup as that one's popped down the right field line. This is deja vu all over again, but this time it's caught by Hardigan, the right fielder, for out number 1. That's the exact same way that we started the bottom of the 5th inning, Lincoln. Roberts led off that inning as well, but fortunately for Hyannis, that one is caught.
Yeah, and that was a good job there from Hardigan being able to come up on that one. He had to run quite a ways and battle the sun as it's still peeking out above the tree line now as right field completely sunny out there, and you know that has to be painful for him trying to grab those fly balls, but a good job there.
Brings up the 9-hitter, Ryan Ritter. Ritter 1 for 3 to this point with a single and a run scored. Oh, 2 the count. Ritter, the shortstop, looking to get on with one away as he lines that one off the netting down the right field line.
Ritter playing at the University of Kentucky, standing in the right-handed box at 6'2", 190 pounds.
The 0-2. And that's a ball.
Very good pitch there. I guess that might have missed inside a little bit.
Your guess is as good as mine. Count 1-2.
Ritter, one of the few players that got to play during that 2020 season. He played for the Fond du Lac Spiders. Fond du Lac Dock Spiders, that is, in the Northwoods League.
That's a team name. As Ritter goes down looking for the second out in the inning. That brings in the top of the order for the 5th time in the ball game. Yes, the 5th time in 6 innings. Cole Cummings will step in.
Yeah, Cole Cummings getting an at-bat in every inning except for the 3rd so far. He got a single in the 1st, strikeout in the 2nd.
He swings at the first pitch and pops it foul down the left field line. After it is Johnson and Hardigan. It's Johnson sliding to make the catch. How about that? You're down 13, but the Harbor Hawks are still hustling. Dominic Johnson makes a sliding catch to end the inning, and the Kettleers go down in order. Top of the 7th inning coming at you from Lowell Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill in the booth as Zane Harris gets ready to dig in to lead it off. Batting in the cleanup spot today for Hyannis. He's 0 for 2 to this point with a pair of punch-outs on the line. Joey Walsh back on the hill for Cotuit for his 2nd inning of work. Was dominant in the top of the 6th, retired the top of the Harbor Hawks order with a flyout and a pair of strikeouts as he gets ahead of Zane Harris 0-1 on the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, Harris went down earlier on a couple of outside fastballs. He's been chasing those outside pitches. This one he chased on the low end.
0-1 the count to the DH. The pitch cut on and miss 0-2. Zane Harris can be found at first or DH. I talked with Zane. He has played first his entire life. That's his spot. So when he's not in the field, they put him at DH to get that bat in the lineup. It's usually him and Pujols. They flip-flop between the two. Sometimes you'll find Mason Greer at DH. We saw Dom Johnson get 2 starts at the DH spot, but trying to get Harris and Pujols in the lineup every night. That one misses outside. 1-2 the count on Zane Harris.
After Harris chased at those first 2 breaking balls, both down low, it makes sense that Walsh would go for another breaking ball, this time on the outside part of the plate. because he's been chasing both outside and that breaking ball.
1-2 from Walsh. Misses low, 2-2 the count. Below the knees of Zane Harris.
Harris back in high school was another dual sport athlete, also played varsity basketball.
Long pause, Walsh takes a deep breath, the 2-2. His bat shatters, heads up. It goes over the head of Adam Hackenberg on deck. The throw to first from the second baseman is in time. That's Baldwin over there making the play for out number 1, but a dangerous play almost, and Hackenberg was able to just duck out of the way.
Well, Hackenberg didn't really see that bat at first. I think it was just about to hit him as he ducked out of the way of that one. A close call there for the catcher.
Speaking of Hackenberg, he digs in now for the third time in the ballgame. 1 for 2 with a single. One of the 2 Harbor Hawks hits on the ledger tonight. First pitch swing, and that one's grounded back up the middle. It's going to get into center field for a base hit. So Hackenberg with a pair of hits. He's timing up the Kettleers pretty well.
And even though with those few hits, good job from Hackenberg there, being 2 for 3 now. He started out hitless heading into this game, and just like Pujols last night, 2 hits to start his season off.
The sun has snuck behind the trees a bit here at Lowell Park. With no lights on the field, this game will have to pick up the pace a bit here as we're in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Mitch Hardigan. Misses low in the dirt for a ball, 1-0.
And we're seeing the last bit of sunlight in towards second and first base heading into right field there. But center field and the whole left half of the field already covered in shade.
Ground ball to first, fielded there, throw into short for 1. Oh, it's dropped. It was at the bag, had it in the glove for a second, but it pops out, so everyone's going to be safe. It's going to be Hackenberg advancing to second, and that puts Hardigan on first.
And some trouble there for the Kettleers defense as they have now notched their first error. It's going to go down as an E. Should be an E4, I'd assume. Am I correct in saying that, or would that be an E6?
Actually, I'm not sure if it was the shortstop or the second baseman covering. It was grounded to the right side, so it should have been the shortstop getting over to the bag.
Yeah, it was the. That's right. It was thrown over at first by Baldwin. That throw came a little bit low, so I'm not sure if that would be his error or the error on Ritter at short.
We'll have to check with the scorekeeper at the end of the game, but either way, it's an error on the Kettleers.
Yeah.
Which puts a runner on first and second with 1 out. Dom Johnson at the plate. The Kansas State outfielder, transferring there from Oklahoma, the 0-1, popped up. Infield fly rule's in effect. They'll make the call. So Johnson's out. Runners stay where they are as the catch is made over at second by Gold. Well, now Mortarella came in the ball game. They're moving some guys around, so it's Baldwin at second base. We have Baldwin at second. Blake Klassen came in right, and Nathan Martarella at first. Switching things up a bit on defense for the Kettleers. Ritter, the shortstop. That brings in Mason Greer with 2 away.
Greer started out with a hot bat, but since then he's been struggling a bit at the plate, including tonight where he's been fanned twice.
Greer looking to bounce back in this at-bat with a runner in scoring position. That's Hackenberg on second. Hardigan on first, and that fastball is inside from Joey Walsh. Walsh had a 1-2-3-6. Got the leadoff man of the inning, Harris, allowed a single, and then Hardigan to reach on an error, which puts, after the Johnson pop-up, that puts Greer at the plate. Greer in the 8th slot tonight for Hyannis. Behind in the count to Walsh, 0-2. The pitch.
Oh, that was a
2-0 the
strike.
count, excuse me. Called strike, 2-1 the count now. Scoreboard here at Lowell Park, a little different than the Harbor Hawks scoreboard. Got a little thrown off there with the count.
The ball, strike, and outs all jumbled together along with the inning. Very confusing.
Especially when it's you see 0-2 or 1-2 with the out right next to it.
Yeah, with most of the scoreboards, all of the scoreboards we've seen so far, with the inning number, the inning hasn't been a number. You've just seen the all 9 innings laid out.
I think that's what threw me off a bit. A little bit of a different condensed setup out there in left center.
Yeah, it threw me off a handful of times earlier as well.
3-1 is ball 4 to Greer. So the Harbor Hawks have the bases loaded now with 2 away in the 7th.
All right, this is the most base runners the Harbor Hawks have had on base at one time. And I think I'm getting a good feeling about this at bat from Ricciardi coming up.
Let's see what Mariano Ricciardi can do, the birthday boy today, Lincoln. That would be a heck of a birthday present, getting something done here.
Yeah, get some RBIs. Breaking that goose egg open would be a huge feat on his 23rd birthday.
He's got a single tonight. He also flew out to left field. The first pitch from Joey Walsh is in the dirt and blocked by Ben Rice, the catcher.
Good athletic play there from Rice, leaping into that right-handed box in order to stop that ball from getting past him.
Top of the order and Caden Rose on deck. Ricciardi will have to do battle with Walsh first, the 1-0. Reached for and fouled off as Walsh fires one on the outside corner. The count evens up at 1-1. Walsh was dominant last summer with the Brockton Rocks of the FCBL. Now comes down to the Cape League for the 2021 season. The 1-1 from Walsh. Line drive in between short. A diving play by Ritter. He's not going to make the play, and a run's going to score. So the Harbor Hawks get a run on the board in what likely will be ruled an infield single. Nice job of Ricciardi putting it in play in a tough spot. And it's an RBI single for Mariano Ricciardi.
You know, a little bit of a prediction myself there. I'm 1 for 1,000.
There we go. No, you had one the other night. You say this every time you get one, so you got to have a couple.
I don't know. I might have like 3 or 4 on the season, but you know, it's definitely a vast. I'll just say my average isn't good right now.
That's all right. It's still early. Long season ahead.
Yeah, just a great piece of hitting there from Ricciardi as he was able to put that just far enough away from Ritter.
Rose swings to the first pitch, cut off by the third baseman. Throw on to first is in time to end the inning. Great play by Cummings. As the Harbor Hawks get a run across. We head to the bottom of the 7th on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park as Tommy McCollum finishes up his warm-up tosses as we await the start of the bottom of the 7th. But first, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Nice tactic there, slowing down over the tongue twister that it's gotten me every time I've read it this season so far.
Can be a lot. It's jumbled up. Tommy McCollum back on the bump for his second inning of work. As mentioned, he had a 1-2-3 6th inning, much needed out of the Harbor Hawk bullpen. He fires a fastball that skips away for ball 1.
Not really a great start, that ball in the dirt, but you know, still very early. That one pitch just needs to get back in his groove here.
Brooks Baldwin, the leadoff man for the Kettleers in this inning. Baldwin having a very solid night. 2 for 3. 2 RBI on a triple back in the 5th. He's also walked. He's reached base every time. He reached on the error in the first, and he scored all 4 times that he's been on base. So good things happen when your top of the order gets on. And Lincoln, we see that on the box score with Cummings, the leadoff man, scoring 3 runs, and Baldwin, the 2-hitter, scoring 4 runs. I mean, that's just a recipe for success.
Yeah, the top 3 hitters for the Kettleers alone have scored a combined 8 runs. And so just some massive hitting coming from the top 3 hitters and some very efficient batting coming from them as well.
Tommy McCollum looking good out of the Harbor Hawk bullpen. He's ahead 1-2 on Baldwin. 93 on that last fastball. The 1-2. Misses outside.
Not sure
2-2.
how far that missed. It looked perfectly on the corner there.
I think we've seen a few guys rung up on that call today. 2-2 the count. McCollum looking to retire the leadoff man of the inning, Baldwin. Someone who's been elusive to retire today. The 2-2. In the dirt, blocked by Hackenberg, but it's ball 3.
Luckily, nobody was on base for that pass ball, as we've had a couple of those balls that Hackenberg's tried to get in front of, but it's ended up bouncing off of him and allowing runners to get an easy extra base.
The 3-2 from McCollum. Gets him reaching and swinging at strike 3, and that'll be out number 1.
It's a great pitch there at 91 miles an hour, just out of the zone, and he was able to get Baldwin sneaking, trying to get a little bit greedy there on that outside pitch. A good piece of pitching there from McCollum.
The Kettleers have fanned 10 times in the ball game. Blake Klassen standing in, getting his first at-bat of the ball game. Entered for Schreck, and Schreck had hit the 2-run home run back in the 5th, so his day is done. Klassen, of course, hit a home run against the Harbor Hawks back at McKeon Park on Tuesday, the 22nd. That was a solo shot to lead off the ball game against Cade Halimanu, who started today's game. So lots of connections all around. These two teams are going to become familiar. Game 2 of 6 on the year between the Kettleers and Harbor Hawks. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill will be with you for all 6 of them.
Along with our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer and our producer Matthew Lawrence Noah.
2-1 now to Klassen.
And now Taylor asking me to give her middle name as well. Taylor Faith Farmer. TFF. Tiffany Faith Farmer as well.
2-2 the count on Klassen from McCollum. Long game tonight, huh?
Yeah, and then we have, what is it, Austin Michael DeCouta?
That's
is that right? Michael?
That is it.
All right, Lincoln, your turn.
Lincoln, now I mean, we'll just go around the whole team now. What's your middle name? Is it Douglas, I think?
Yeah, it is. Is it Lincoln Douglas Revill?
All right, glad we all know each other very well.
For my history buffs, the Lincoln Douglas debate.
Line foul. Klassen stays alive. 3-2 the count.
I guess toss it to me about this.
3-2 to Blake Klassen. McCollum looking to do it again. Here's the pitch. Cut on and miss. Nice pitch by Tommy McCollum. He's coming out of the Harbor Hawks bullpen and giving them exactly what they need, which is efficiency and effectiveness.
Yeah, couldn't be more right, Austin. Back-to-back strikeouts for McCollum, and really just a great piece of great inning here for him so far tonight.
He struck out 4 of the 5 batters he's faced so far. Ben Rice digging in, the catcher from Dartmouth. As mentioned, Rice was the 2020 MVP of the Futures League last summer. Joey Walsh was the reliever of the year in that league, so these two are two of the 3 award winners in that Futures League, coming down the Cape playing on the same Kettleer team. The third was Nick Sinicola, who's also in this Cape Cod Baseball League. Sinicola was the pitcher of the year in the FCBL. Now all 3 making their mark here in the Cape League as that fastball misses outside. 3-0 the count to Ben Rice. To Ben Rice. Ball 4. Ben works a 2-out walk, which brings up Nathan Mortarella with 2 away in the inning.
Well, after 2 lengthy but good strikeouts from McCollum, he ends up with a quick 3rd at bat there to Ben Rice, a 4-pitch walk. Not the kind of at bat that you want to see if you're McCollum looking for that 3rd out. But now you have another chance here with Mortarella.
Approaching 2.5 hours into this ball game, Hyannis chasing Cotuit by a score of 13-1. 13 runs on 14 hits, 1 error for the Kettleers, 1 run on 4 hits, 2 errors for the Harbor Hawks. The Kettleers jumped out to an early 5-0 lead after the first, added on 1 more in the second, then 2 more in the fourth, and 5 more in the fifth, and we are here. Harbor Hawks got their only run of the ball game last half inning rather. Top of the 7th, it was an RBI single for the second baseman Mariano Ricciardi that brought in the catcher Adam Hackenberg. Swung on and popped foul down the left field line. The count is 1-2 now to Mortarella. Mortarella came into the ball game in the bottom of the 5th. Came in for Luke Gold, who got the start. Was hit by a pitch in that at bat.
Mortarella ended up being drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 2019 draft.
Hard hit ground ball through the hole between first and second, so he reaches safely for the 2nd time and as many at bats, and that puts runners on first and second now with still 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, this time on base definitely less painful than that first at bat in the 5th. The 5th he got hit by a pitch, but this time he had a good single in between first and second. And now runners on first and second base.
In steps Andy Garriola. 2 outs in the inning. 2 men on. McCollum retired the first 5 batters he faced out of the pen. Allowed a walk and then a single. Called strike on the inside corner, and yet another ball player shaking their head at a strike call tonight. I think every player has had their share of upsetness, or how would you call it?
Yeah.
Not too happy. Very discouraged with the strike calls tonight. The
Definitely.
0-1. This time it's a swinging strike.
Definitely some frustration from batters all around. And if it hasn't been every single batter so far, it's been a majority of them for sure. All but maybe a couple.
The sun continues to set here at Lowell Park. The flag blowing out in center. The 0-2 pitch. Misses inside, 1-2 the count.
Yeah, I'm kind of starting to wonder if we're actually going to make it through this and through all 9 innings with the sun slowly creeping down, and we're quickly running out of daylight.
Daylight is sparse, but the runs for the Kettleers are not, and it's called strike 3, so they won't get to tack on now. And a little conversation coming.
Yeah, that was
a rough strike 3 call to end the inning. But before we head to the 8th, we're going to check in with our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer. What's going on, Taylor?
Is in a night where not much has went right for the Harbor Hawks. The birthday boy, Mariano Ricciardi, has had a pretty good night at bat. The only player in this Harbor Hawk lineup that has not struck out. He's had a single, flew out, and then an RBI single to put the only run on the board for the Harbor Hawks. Adam Hackenberg has been pretty solid behind the plate as well. Threw that runner out at second earlier in the game and does have 2 singles. Hopefully we'll get something going here heading into the 8th.
Thank you very much, Taylor, and we'll be back in just a moment for more Harbor Hawks baseball on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Harbor Hawks chasing a dozen as we get ready for the top of the 8th inning from Lowell Park. Austin, DeCouta, and Lincoln Revill in the booth with Taylor Farmer on the sidelines. Matt Noah behind the producer board tonight. Kyle Ball, the shortstop, leads it off. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He's swinging at the first pitch and pops it out to play foul. Off behind the first base bleacher.
Love to see that aggression, just aggressiveness in this at bat.
Joey Walsh back on the mound for his 3rd inning of work out of the Kettleers bullpen. Counts 1-1 to the Stetson shortstop. Walsh had a 1-2-3-6, and then last inning allowed a run, allowed a single, a walk, another single. Ball lines that one past this diving second baseman Baldwin for a base hit. Leadoff man is on.
That was a good piece of hitting there from Ball. His first at bat tonight where he has not gone down on a strikeout. He's struck out 3 times, but he's avoided the 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts with a single, and that's a good hit to end things on, and the streak on, I would say.
Marcos Pujols digs in now with the leadoff man on. Pujols on the day, 0 for 3, coming off a night where he hit his first hit of the season and a 3-run homer. He lines that one in between first and second for a base hit, so Pujols has hit safely in back-to-back ball games. Harbor Hawks with the first 2 men on singles off of Joey Walsh.
And all season long we've been predicting that whenever Pujols' bat wakes up, it will wake up with a vengeance, and it has really. He's had 3 hits in his past 2 games, and one of them has been a really long ball, to say the least.
In steps another guy who can hit for power, Zane Harris. He's already got a homer on the season. That was back at McKean Park earlier in the week. Runners on first and second, nobody out. First pitch to Harris. Called strike on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Time is called. Walsh back on the hill here for his 3rd inning of work. Tough to go 3 innings sometimes for relievers. They'll ask him to try to complete this. The 0-1 to Harris is grounded to second. Baldwin skips past his glove and into right field. Here comes Kyle Ball. He's going to score from second. Pujols moves up to 3rd. So the Harbor Hawks get a run back. It's now 13-2. Tough hop out there at second.
All right, starting to chip away at that lead ever so slightly now, adding another run, and a little bit of an error there from the second baseman, Gold.
And that'll end the day for Joey Walsh. It was great early on, but the Harbor Hawks started to be able to pick up that fastball and got a couple hits off of him. A pitching change from Cotuit. We'll be back in a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here from Lowell Park, runners will be on the corners after the last warm-up pitches come home. New pitcher on the mound for the Kettleers. It's a right-hander, number 31, Dalton Roddins. One more warm-up toss for him, but before we get back to the action here in the 8th, did you miss some of the Harbor Hawk action? Make sure to check out the nightly post-game show, Hawk Talk, on the team's YouTube page for a rundown on everything you missed and that game, all in 3 minutes or less. Go to youtube.com, search Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and catch up on everything Harbor Hawk.
Hawk Talk tonight going to be hosted by Austin tonight.
If we can get down on the field in time, I think the lights here on the thing.
That is true.
On the ballpark, rather.
Yeah, daylight ever so important here. I mean, I suppose if it came down to it, we could use our phone flashlights, just shine them before our face, you know.
But definitely check out the YouTube. We have lots of great action on the post-game shows, Lincoln, and our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer does a good job catching up with at least one player a night, and our producer Matt Noah does a great job editing together the Hawk Talks as always. Dalton Roddins on the mound as he fires a first pitch, off-speed pitch, and that's 70 for a ball.
You know, while you're at it, look out. We mentioned it earlier. That was back in very early in the game.
As Hackenberg ropes a single down the right field line, that gets Pujols home. Zane Harris is running hard, heading from first to third. He'll get there safely, so it's an RBI single from Adam Hackenberg, and he has himself a 3-hit ball game.
And we're slowly working our way back to a single-digit deficit. We're only down 10 runs now. And a runner on third, nobody out, and a good chance here to bring that deficit back to single digits with Mitch Hardigan coming to the plate.
It's good to see the bats come alive as the Harbor Hawks had just 2 hits for a majority of the ball game.
Yeah, it seems to be a trend where our bats are dead up until the 7th or 8th inning, and then they come alive for a little bit of a rally, but they're always up to date. They've been a little bit too late.
A 1-0 to Hardigan, grounded down the first base line. It will kick out a play to even the count at 1-1. It's Zane Harris on third, Adam Hackenberg on first, and with 2 runs home in the inning, Hyannis would like to continue to pour it on to try to close that gap.
Now, as I was mentioning before, that Hackenberg single, for those of y'all that enjoy podcasts, as we mentioned earlier on in the game, be sure to check out Bird's the Word, the Hyannis Harbor Hawk podcast.
Hardigan grounds to second, on to short for 1. The throw on to first. It's a 4-6-3 double play. But a run does come home, so it's 13-4 now as Zane Harris crosses the plate.
And I think that's really what you wanted to see out of this inning, is just to get some runs on the board and really break down that lead. And they have broken it down a little bit now into single digits. And I'd have to say, with the inning, how far it's gone so far, I'd say it's been a pretty good inning so far.
Absolutely. 3 runs home in the inning for the Harbor Hawks. Dom Johnson at the plate. He would like to add to that. He's 0 for 3 to this point. Harbor Hawks back in action tomorrow night at home versus the same Kettleer team. And we hit the road again on Wednesday to take on the Falmouth Commodores in Falmouth. 6 p.m. first pitches on the next 2 games.
Ending quite a week of the same 2 teams back to back.
Ground ball to short. Ritter picks it up on a hop to throw across the diamond, not in time, and it also gets by the first baseman Martorella, so Dom Johnson reaches base with 2 away in the inning. You mentioned it, Lincoln. We had the Commodores back on Friday, and we went to Chatham Saturday, the Commodores again yesterday. On Sunday now we have Kettleers, Commodores. So
heading into the off day, just a week full of every game but one against the same 2 teams.
We hit the road again Friday against the Wareham Gatemen for our first matchup with the Gatemen this season, and then Saturday against the YD Red Sox in Yarmouth. First matchup with them as well. Some new faces will bring to you on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, some new teams, and remember you can listen to the games whether we're away or at home, just on the away broadcast. We don't have video.
have to say I'm kind of looking forward to that Wareham game.
Mason Greer puts one into the left center field gap. Dom Johnson's running hard on his way to third, so it's a single for Mason Greer.
Now Mason Greer has his first hit of the game. He struck out twice, reached on a walk, and now he's reached base for the second time tonight with his first hit in a couple of games.
Extends the inning another batter as Mariano Ricciardi digs in. He's having himself a good game, 2 for 3 with an RBI. 13-4, the Kettleers lead the Harbor Hawks as sunset becomes ever so gone, I guess.
Yeah.
There's none left.
I'd say we probably have
20 minutes left, maybe?
20 to 30, yeah, until we have to call the game.
You can see a little bit of sun on the trees way back in right field. Otherwise, it's shade.
Now, without all this, without the trees surrounding the field, I'd say that we have still a good bit of time, as once the sun does go down, we still have a little bit of sunset, a little bit of daylight left. But with the tree line, darkness is approaching fast.
1-1 the count to Ricciardi. Sidearm pitch is popped foul down towards the concession stand. Ricciardi behind in the count 1-2. Dalton Radans on the mound for the Kettleers. Came in relief of Joey Walsh this inning. Walsh had gone 2+ and then started this inning, allowing a couple of base runners. So the right-hander comes in out of the pen, looking to stop any further damage by Hyannis.
Radans, the sidewinder, finished his season at Wofford College with a 6-0 record, a 2.59 ERA, and he threw 60. He fanned 62 over 59 innings.
Count is full to Ricciardi at 3-2 with 2 away. The runner on first, Greer, will be in motion on the pitch. The 3-2. Well, he should have been in motion, but he didn't go there. But it's ball 4 nevertheless. So that loads the bases for Caden Rose. So we're at the top of the order, the 9th man to come to the plate for Hyannis and Lincoln. That's a good sign because we really haven't had an inning like this all season.
Yeah, we haven't. We've been struggling to get some hits together, but so far this inning, we've been doing a great job getting some runs across, and just overall a very good offensive inning. Something we haven't seen, definitely not this game.
Called strike to Rose as the off-speed pitch finds the zone. Taylor interviewed Caden Rose before the ball game. You can check that on the Harbor Hawk YouTube page from the sideline. 0-1 the count to the Alabama outfielder. Pitch from Radans. Lined in between short and third for a base hit. Dom Johnson scores. Mason Greer will be held at third. It's an RBI single from Caden Rose, and the Harbor Hawks add another. It's a 13-5 lead.
Once again, inching ever so slightly, only down 8 runs now. Good throw there from Garriola out in left, saving an extra run coming in, keeping Greer at third. He brought that ball in a hurry to make sure that run kept from scoring.
Harbor Hawks have now batted around in the inning. So that'll be Kyle Ball, who led off the inning with a single and scored a run.
I will say it's a good thing to see that we hit around our lineup before another team hit around their lineup against us this season.
That is true, Lincoln. That's the first time I've had to cross out a number on the scorebook, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely not.
The 0-1 to Kyle Ball awaits as Radans gets his sign from the catcher, Ben Rice. Long pause, and the windup in the pitch. Misses outside, 1-1. Harbor Hawks now with 10 hits in the ballgame. 5 runs have come home. Cotuit with 15 hits, 13 runs. Well, at one point was a 13-0 lead, is now 13-5. Hyannis with 4 home in the inning. Bases loaded, the pitch to Kyle Ball, called strike, and that's strike 2 to Ball, and he's having a tough game when it comes to pitches a little bit out of the zone being called strikes against him. That one looked well inside to the Stetson shortstop.
Yeah, the strike zone has widened late in the game as the sun continues to fall.
The 1-2 popped up out of play. That'll give Ball another chance, and Heads over the bleacher down the first base line. Right end shakes off the sign from Rice. Stares down the catcher and gets the sign. Comes set in the funky delivery, sidearm, the 1-2. Called strike 3, and he rings him up on an inside off-speed pitch, and that's just a tough day at the plate for Ball to end the inning, but the Harbor Hawks bring home 4 runs in the inning. They trail 13-5. Bottom of the 8th coming up in just a moment. Bottom of the 8th inning as Tristan Hunt is on the hill now for the Harbor Hawks. The first time a Hyannis pitcher has worked back-to-back ball games. Tristan Hunt on the hill. Grounded foul, heads up in the Kettleer dugout. Luckily it just strikes the back wall and no players.
That'd have to be quite the angle in order to reach that Kettleer dugout. The back of it, at least, is the fence is almost even with the roof.
Line drive, foul. Just skips past the third base bag.
And that was very close. The third base coach actually appealing that, saying that it was a fair ball. Won't really change anything now as the play is already stopped, and so I don't know what they would do if he appealed that correctly.
John Rhodes at the plate. He came in the 5th and struck out in that at bat. He's behind 0-2 to Tristan Hunt. Tall, powerful right-hander with a fastball, slider, changeup mix. The 0-2. The 1-2 from Hunt. Lined foul off the netting just in front of us here at the broadcast table.
If this fence wasn't here, I'd grab that, take a little souvenir home.
I'm sure we'll get one at some point.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Especially one of these away games, right. Being out in the open like this, we'll grab one at some point. At Wareham, we'd have a good chance if we weren't. Wareham, a couple days.
That ball is hit well to left field. Johnson is back on it. He comes in to make the catch for out number 1. That ball left the bat in a hurry.
Yeah, I did.
Hung up long enough.
Straight off the bat, it looked a little bit dangerous. It looked like it was going to head on over the fence, but luckily that was perfectly in play for Johnson out and left.
Brett Roberts getting ready to step in, the DH from Florida State. He's got a triple with 2 RBI and 2 singles, 3 for 4 on the night. A stolen base, a run scored as well, doing a little bit of everything, much like many of the Kettleers are. Behind in the count 0-1 to Tristan Hott. The windup and the pitch. Ground ball just over the head of Hott. Ricciardi comes in. The throw on the run is in time. Nice play by Mariano Ricciardi for out number 2.
Yeah, Ricciardi showing off his athleticism a couple of times tonight, including on that one, grounding that one, making the throw on the run and across his body over to Pujols. A great play overall from all around. With
2 outs in the inning, that brings in the shortstop Ryan Ritters. Ritter 1 for 4 on the night with a single and a run scored. First pitch, pop up, shallow into the infield as ball comes in. There's going to be no play either way, as it was just, I mean, you can't throw that ball any perfectly for an infield single.
Yeah, there wasn't really a easy way to make that play. He had to try to make it on. He had to try to make the bare hand. There we go. I got the sentence out. But yeah, just a very difficult play, and he just couldn't get to it in time.
Back to the ever dangerous top of the order here for Cotuit, as Cole Cummings digs in for the 6th time in this ball game, and hopefully the final time that he steps up, as he's been deadly so far in this one. 2 for 4 on the night, 2 singles, a couple stolen bases, a walk, 3 runs scored, just your average day at the ball field for Cummings.
Yeah, I saw that every player in this Kettleer lineup that started the game at least has had at least 1 hit so far.
And things are going good if that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a total of 16 hits, but that's at least 9 of them if every player is getting a hit. And unfortunately for Hyannis, the Kettleer bats are scorching today. The 1-1 from Hott gets a swing and a miss by Cummings, and Tristan Hott looked good out of the bullpen tonight, as did Tommy McCollum.
Yeah, we started out a little rough there at the beginning, but about midway through the game, things started to really click for the pitching rotation here tonight.
From the 6th inning on, the Harbor Hawks are outscoring the Kettleers 5-0 as Hott gets a swing and a miss to end the inning. Final at-bats coming up. Top of the 9th awaits as the Harbor Hawks chase 8 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top of the 9th, getting ready to begin. Austin, DeCouta, and Lincoln Revill with you as the Harbor Hawks are chasing 8 runs. It's going to be Marcos Pujols, Zane Harris, and Adam Hackenberg due up as a new pitcher has entered the ball game for the Kettleers. TJ Brock from Ohio State, a 6'1" right-handed pitcher looking to protect the 8-run lead. Brock from Ohio State, from Cincinnati, Ohio.
And Brock finished the 2021 season for the Buckeyes with an 0-1 record, a 2.08 ERA, and he fanned 33 and 21.2 innings. Made 19 total appearances for the Buckeyes this season.
Pujols getting ready to lead it off. He singled and scored in the 8th inning as part of that Harbor Hawk 4-run rally. First pitch of the night from Brock is cut on a miss, and 98 on the radar gun on the scoreboard in left center field as that one was zipping in.
Tied for the fastest pitch that we've seen all year long.
Yes, time is called. Not sure if that was asked for by Pujols or the catcher Ben Rice.
Pujols was saying something to the umpire. I'm not sure what he was saying to him.
The 0-1. Checks his swing. They'll say that Pujols went around at 97 in the dirt. And Brock is coming out of the bullpen with a live arm.
Yeah, bringing that little bit of a funny thing there from Rice. Interesting little thing to say the least. But yeah, with that fastball in the high 90s coming in from Brock, not a whole lot of reaction time available to these hitters.
The 0-2 to Pujols. Misses outside again at 98. 1-2 the count. Wind still blowing around here at Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts, as the Harbor Hawks getting their final at-bats of the evening against the Kettleers. And Pujols grounds that one down the first base line. It'll get out of play. The count will hold at 1-2.
Pujols sporting a good-looking bat, a light-colored handle with a gray barrel. Lots of pine tar out in the center there.
Brock making his second appearance on the year. The other appearance, he didn't record an out, walked the 2 batters he faced. Long pause, the 1-2. Fouled straight back off the backstop where the scouts sit here at Lowell Park. So the count will hold at 1-2.
A little bit of an interesting start to his delivery there for Brock, as unless I'm seeing this wrong, whenever he brings his leg up, he separates his throwing hand from his glove, brings it back in, and then goes home. Make sure I'm seeing this correctly on this next pitch.
Gets the signs from the catcher Rice. Pujols asks for time. It's a long pause there as he comes in to get the signs from the catcher. Brock with the pants pulled up to show the maroon socks. The 1-2 in the dirt. Pujols jumps out of the way. The count moves to 2-2.
With not a lot of daylight left in the game today, I'm not so sure that the Harbor Hawks will be able to mount a comeback here tonight. I'm not sure they'll have, not that they couldn't, I'm just not sure they'll have enough time to.
They need the 8 runs to tie the game. The leadoff man Pujols would like to start that rally. The 2-2 is flowing foul deep down the left field line. Coming in is the left fielder, a diving grab. Does he make the catch? He does, and what a grab out there in left field. Yikes. By Garriola.
Talk about a Sports Center worthy play. Holy cow. Garriola, he lost his hat, made the grab on an outstretched arm, and I think he might have dragged his face along the grass for a couple of seconds there as he just slid a few yards. Just an outstanding catch from that left fielder.
That brings up Zane Harris with 1 away. He had an RBI single and scored a run in that 8th inning rally. First pitch to Harris. Swings and misses at a fastball, 99 on the radar gun.
Oh, wow.
I saw Reggie Crawford of the Bourne Braves hit 101 the other day in a ball game here.
I did see that. I don't think we faced Crawford whenever we played Bourne, did we?
He didn't pitch. He was in the lineup at first base.
I thought so.
The Yukon left-handed hitter and a pitcher will play both positions this summer. But for now, the Harbor Hawks are focused on trying to crack TJ Brock. Zane Harris behind in the count, 0-2. Winds up the bat, holds it up near his head. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And Harris is retired, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, nasty breaking ball there, and a big difference. He brings the fastball home at 99, 98, high 90s, and then that breaking ball coming in at 89 miles an hour. A big difference in that speed and a nasty pitch overall.
Hawks are down to their final out. It's the catcher Adam Hackenberg, who has 3 hits in the ballgame, 3 for 4. A run scored and an RBI single as he swings at the first pitch and lines it straight back.
I also like the improvement in speed that we've seen from the bat boy tonight. He started out a little slow, but he's gone out to a pretty good speed out there getting those foul balls.
Hackenberg lines the 0-1 to short, and the catch is made, and the ball game is over. What started off as a 6-0 lead expanded, and the Harbor Hawks fall by a final score of 13-5 here at Lowell Park to the Cotuit Kettleers. Lincoln, a disappointing loss tonight.
Very disappointing, very disappointing. And like you said, later on in the game, we outscored the Kettleers 5-0. And really, if we could have had that game throughout the whole game, we might have been able to see something entirely different tonight.
And a rematch on tap tomorrow night with a 6 p.m. first pitch back at McKeon Park in Hyannis against the same Cotuit Kettleers. For our producers Harrison Meyers and Matt Noah, for our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer, and for my broadcast partner Lincoln Revill, I'm Austin DeCouta. Thank you for watching Harbor Hawks Baseball.